Hello, YouTube and Rumble. It is your favorite Velociraptor fanboy, Shepherd Gobble C, and today I'm going to be shamelessly reacting to another streamer's channel because I play Pokemon on the Switch Lite and I don't have a means of actually streaming the game myself. But I did participate in DuranzTV's weekly VGC tour and I managed to make the top 64 top cut, which was just X2. There was 6 rounds of Swiss, best of 3. I went 4-2 in Swiss. Um, Tomorrow, as of the day of this recording, so it's going to be, I guess today technically, December 31st is the day in which Top Cut takes place, and I'm hoping to bring this home. However, since I don't have a means of recording myself, I did happen to find someone that I ended up playing, Tom Hayden 27. Um, he's a very good VGC player. I recognize his name once the once someone mentioned it, once Duranz mentioned it in his stream about how Tom Hayden was having his own tournament. It rang a bell that this guy has made top cuts before. He's very creative with his VGC building, and he's a very good player. So please give him a look. Um, Obviously, he has his socials on the screen now, and I also have his Twitch channel pulled up here. So please, please, please give both DuranzTV and Tom Hayden a look because they gave me the opportunity to actually make this video. Without a further ado, let's get right into the team building process. I'll sort of be giving my commentary of what was going through my head and sort of comparing it to what was going through his head at the time. It's very unique to have both perspectives, but I think this is going to be a good experience. So basically, my team consists of Focus Sash, Meowscarada, Throat Spray, Terra Water, Sylveon, uh, Terra Steel, Umbreon, uh, Eject Pack, Salazzle, Habanberry, Salamence, and uh, Life Orb, Terrascale, Goldango. And then obviously you can see what his team was at the time here. There are open team sheets, so if you are interested in the team that I was running, feel free to leave a comment down below and I can make a separate video to sort of talk about the team that I brought here. Like I said, 4-2 Swiss. We'll see how Top Cut goes. So let's get rolling, shall we?
We want to get into Trick Room.
Yep,
Yes,
I
we do.
totally agreed.
Trick
As
Room.
soon as I saw this team, I saw
Uh huh.
Torque. So basically,
Trick Room.
he's talking about Trick Room, right? And the very first thing that I saw was obviously the Trick Room core of Indeedee Armor Rouge, but also I saw Torkoal Lilligant. So I was trying to think of the optimal lead with the Pokemon that I brought, with the Pokemon that I have. Um, I felt that Salazzle was pretty much was a must. Well, actually, let me correct this. Umbreon was a must because I have a very bulky Umbreon build, and I felt like I could take a hit from anything that he could have brought. But I knew that Trick Room or Sun was likely going to be the lead. So even though I knew that Umbreon was a Pokemon that I wanted to bring, especially if he was going to lead in DD Armor Rouge, I felt like Salazzle was a good follow-up because if they went with Lilligant Torkoal, I could start off, even though Lilligant's going to be faster because of Chlorophyll, I could start off with a Fake Out, break the Focus Sash, and then maybe survive an Eruption and get an Overheat onto the Lilligant. If not, Salazzle can go down. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. The only problem is obviously the after you shenanigans that can be done with the Torkoal. So I ended up bringing Umbreon, Salazzle as my lead, and in the back I ended up bringing Sylveon and um, Salamence. And the reason why I brought Sylveon and Salamence is that they were good into both the dragons, and Salamence resisted Torkoal and Armor Rouge's fire type moves. Also resisted Lilligant, Leaf Storm, but basically I knew that my win con here was to get my Terra Water Sylveon onto the field and try to just overpower with Hyper Voices and Terra Blast. So my thought process was kind of like that going into it. I didn't want to bring Goldango because of the amount of fire, ground, weaknesses, dark. Like Goldango just didn't really match up too well with this squad. In Meowscarada, I wasn't going to be able to stop the Trick Room from growing up if they led with it, and also it would only survive like one hit from. It would go down to Sash because of the Torkoal, and that's fine. But I just didn't think it brought enough to the table for the rest of the squad, especially if the dragons came in. There's nothing that a 1 HP Meowscarada is going to be able to do against this. So let's see what ends up
Is what we
what his
want.
thought process here is.
Oh,
His
I don't
dog
know.
started barking.
Because of the threat of Salazzle. You know what? No, we can't go Lily Torkoal confidently game one. Because of the threat of Salazzle. But they can't confidently go Salazzle because of the threat of Didi.
And I'll be honest, Tom, I'll be honest. If for some reason this ever reaches your circle, I obviously gave my thought process on Salazzle. I've done enough testing to know that worst case scenario, I can overheat the Indeedee because Salazzle is obviously very fast, and as long as I lead Salazzle, I can overheat, hit the Indeedee, get some chip, and then eject pack my way into either the Sylveon or the Salamence, whichever one I feel like is the optimal play. So uh, it does make sense. The Salazzle is very weak to the Psychic Terror typing, but that's more like if I bring it in the back. That's my thought process. And we can skip ahead a little bit.
Alright, so now. Alright.
So
This one's all good
obviously
one.
we already talked about what my lead
Watch me
is,
pay attention.
and he picked
I'm
the
sorry, I'm not
Torkoal
paying
Lilligant
attention.
because he didn't think I was going to lead Salazzle.
Alright, so now I have to protect. So he can
I
encore
honestly
me
did
to
not.
protect.
I kind of
But
saw
I'm
the
faster.
because he knew that I had Snarl. I was expecting maybe a sleep pout. Well, no, because
I'm
I'm gonna
faster.
fake out
So he's
anyway.
gonna encore me
Um,
after you.
the Encore was not anything that I was thinking about doing here. Because I knew that after you invalidated the Encore, um, fake out was really my
Yeah,
only
he had to
option in
fake
this
out.
scenario because I wanted to break the Sash, if
No,
at
wait,
all
you can hang
possible.
out in here.
I was a little scared of maybe Sleep
So now
Powder,
he has
but
to encore me the next turn.
but the
But I'm gonna after you
Snarl
eruption, so in
was
theory I should go first. I don't see why I wouldn't go first. I'm
the
freezing
Snarl
in
was
here.
definitely
Holy
something
fuck.
where I just kind of went for the Snarl. There's no reason not
Do I
to.
need to Terra? Might as
Um,
well, just for the extra damage.
Especially if I was able to break the Sash. The only problem is now I need to go for Moonlight. I can't go for Snarl here because the Lilligant is guaranteed to be on the field for another turn. So I have to go for the healing, have to bring the Lilligant down to Sash, and just hope that I can um, get through this. So here comes the After You. I did look this up. The Torkoal never OHKOs unless it crits.
So it did work.
And same thing with Salazzle. I believe Salazzle is bulky enough to survive one Torkoal eruption. The
Snarl miss.
overheat brings the Lilligant down to Sash, and this is where I was thinking once again, like,
Yeah,
I need to go for Moonlight because I'm not going to be able to take another After You eruption at half health.
I need the Snarl to miss.
So I did not go Snarl. I went Moonlight. And I bring in Hideyoshi here, which is my Sylveon,
Fuck
because I didn't know this at the time, and it was a little bit too risky. He does call this out a little bit later. But I end up going
Bro,
Terra
it wasn't
Water here
Snarl?
because I don't think that
got
Terra
chicken heads.
Water is the worst thing in the world, especially if you go for like Sleep Powder or After You. and it reduces the damage that Sylveon takes because unlike Umbreon, Sylveon does not have a way to recover HP. But he does call out that if he called the Terra Water, he could have Leaf Stormed, probably knocked out the Sylveon.
My dog eats chicken every night.
And then,
He needs it. A high
yes, your
protein diet for his
Lilligant
fur.
does go down,
Right
but I
there?
also lose my number 1 Torkoal counter.
Terra Water Sylveon.
He is a little distracted,
Terra
cutting
Blast,
up his chicken and stuff,
Paper
but
Voice Yawn. He survives the eruption.
I actually ran
Maybe
the calc.
Yawn was the better play.
I actually ran the calc. I barely live the eruption, even without Terra typing. In this scenario, I survive with like I think 2%, at least 2%. So, the correct play probably would have been go for Hyper Voice without Terra Water, because
Right,
then
after
I
you
don't
yawn,
have to
or- no,
worry
at that point,
about
I
the
need to
Leaf Storm. Because
If
then
I
I can
Leaf
just go
Storm there,
Snarl,
that's a
knock out
crazy-ass
the
read, though.
Lilligant, and get the... Yeah, get the knockout onto the Lilligant, and then do the exact same thing that I did here, which is Moonlight. Not Snarl, Moonlight, because the... Oh, that's right, because I was going for the KO anyway, and Torkoal is not under Trick Room.
I gotta go wash my hands. I got chicken all over my hands.
Yeah, without the threat of Trick Room, I know that Umbreon's going to be faster than Torkoal, so I don't have to worry about it. I can just go Moonlight, heal up, get ready for the next hit to come in. So the Snarl Hyper Voice just sort of guaranteed that I get a KO onto the Lilligant, which is one of the biggest things, because like I said, Snarl into the Torkoal, I'm slowly chipping away, lowering its special attack, as well as lowering its HP, so Eruptions don't do as much, and Heat Waves definitely would not do as much. So, at this point, I'm feeling like I'm in a really good position because I have my Umbreon with a Snarl off onto the Torkoal, I believe. Oh wait, no, I did not Snarl the Torkoal yet. But basically, I got some good chip onto the Torkoal, so now I know that the Torkoal's not going to be able to OHKO. I get chip onto the Indeedee. So I feel like I'm in a really good spot. This is the exact matchup that I want for my Umbreon, because like I said, I've ran the calcs. Umbreon is just so freaking bulky.
Plus the lower health eruption KO?
It does not.
Oh, I need to know. So this is what I need to test myself on more. Where for practice? Right now it's at 72%. As long as eruption's at 67% or more, I hit it over Heat Wave.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Dazzling is not going to KO the Umbreon.
Yeah, it's definitely not gonna knock out the Umbreon, especially now. And that's exactly why I went with Umbreon over some of the other dark types that I was considering. I was thinking about a lot of dark types, but Umbreon honestly was the pick that I made because of this exact reason. Because I'm able to go with Snarl and Foul Play, I don't need to worry too much about my offensive capabilities. I just need to be able to stall out things like this and just get it to the point where I can get into a scenario where they literally cannot knock out the Umbreon. I'm not a huge fan of the Yawn. I was honestly, in my head, I was expecting to take another Eruption or maybe a Heat Wave on the Sylveon. Actually, no, it makes sense because you know that you're not going to be able to knock out a Terra Water Sylveon at this point anyway. So getting the Yawn off at least puts some pressure and makes me forced to switch. You know what? Never mind. He was much better. He's much more intelligent than I am. It took me like 30 seconds to...
I can't kill Umbreon.
Yep. That's the scenario I was looking for.
This Umbreon's unkillable.
Yeah, he's smarter than me because it took me like 45 seconds to figure out that Yawn was in fact the optimal play in that scenario, because then you force the switch or you get my Sylveon to sleep. Plus you get rid of the +1. In this scenario though, I don't think that matters too much just because I do have the Terra Water. He goes Dazzling Gleam, and I think he did go Expanding Force, but I do get Sylveon out of there because I don't want him taking too much damage,
Roberta?
and I
That's
bring in
Meowscarada.
Roberta,
Oh, no, it's
named
Salamence,
after
okay.
Roberta from Black
That's a
Lagoon,
good
Roberta's
Salamence
Blood
name.
Trail.
Roberta.
I honestly, at this point, I did not care about what happened to Roberta in this scenario, so I just wanted to get another Snarl off,
Yo, Indeedee needs to crit everything to do any damage. Alright, I need to focus.
and I just wanted to get like a hit onto
Like, what the
the
fuck's wrong with me?
Armor Rouge.
Why was I this distracted? Like, I can't be this distracted while I'm playing. But I literally just got the group text, like, did you...
Oh, I see why he went with Expanding Force rather than. Well, there will be something that I have to talk about, but it is very interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. So basically, he went for Expanding Force here because if I. Uh, because he knows that I have Detect, which is my Protect, because it can't be imprisoned by for Rigoraph, but I guess Expanding Force does the most damage into the Sylveon slot, just because you can't really go Armor Cannon in that scenario, um, or at least not confidently, just based on how much damage, how many snarls your ND is taken. Yeah, maybe going for the Armor Cannon into the Umbreon forces me to heal next turn. You might be actually no, I know that you're faster than me. So 2 Armor Cannons into the Umbreon probably was the optimal play. I switched out because I was concerned about letting the sleep take place. But honestly, I think I'm in a pretty good spot either way because I've got 2 Pokemon in the back. Um, and Sylveon's not the worst win condition, especially given how little damage Indeedee's taking. I can just set myself up to get into a scenario where I can potentially hit Armor Rouge with a Terra Blast. So, um,
Why was I this distracted?
going into the
Like, I can't be this distracted while I'm playing.
it was a shame that he was distracted throughout this first part.
But I literally just got the group text, like, did you feed the dog? And I was like, no, I was going to wait till 8. Can one of you guys feed the 8? No, Tom, feed the dog. Oh, I fucked up, too. I can't hit Armor Cannon because I changed it to Flamethrower, but I used the wrong fucking thing in game. So now I can't even hit it, because...
Okay, so this is just in case Tom ever watches this video. If you ever play with Shepherd Gobble C and you have a team sheet error, just tell me. As long as I know what the actual move is, I get it. It happens. Like, I've been exporting stuff from Showdown. It happened earlier, I think in a previous recording. My Terra types got reset when I made a copy of my team that I was then tweaking with before the tournament actually took place. I get it. It happens. Um, as long as you let me know that that's the case, and then maybe still go for Expanding Force in this scenario, but just let me know that hey, I have Armor Cannon instead of Flamethrower, or Flamethrower instead of Armor Cannon. Just let me know. Seriously, I am one of the easiest going people, and plus this was not for money. This is not like a regional where I'm trying to scrape out every single win. I was not expecting to get X2. I was not expecting to go 4-2. So please, if you ever see this and you play against me ever again, which I hope we do someday, do not worry about it. I want to play you at full strength. I don't want you being handicapped in any way, shape, or form.
That's a team sheet error. Alright, I'm going to change it between rounds. Fuck me. Tommy, team sheet error.
The good news is that the reason why I went for Moonlight there is I was actually anticipating the Armor Cannon into the Umbreon. That's what I was anticipating. I protected just so that way I could stall one more turn of Trick Room. I knew that the Indeedee was not going to get anywhere close, and I also know the Calcs and Armor Rouge only does like 50%, I think. and that's at full power. I think I got a Snarl in at this point, but even at full power, Armor Rouge only does like 56% to Umbreon in this scenario. So I felt like going for Moonlight just kind of stalls everything out a little bit longer and gets me set up to where basically you have to choose between, well, I'm going to lower my defenses trying to get this Umbreon down when I can't even do it. And it's just a matter of time before I get the Terra-type Sylveon into play here. Your speed's been lowered because of the room service. It's just a matter of time. And I even did that calc with Life Orb. I didn't even do it with room service, so it would do even less.
No. Sun's not the best weather. Sand is.
Sand is probably the best weather. I would probably say that
So
rain.
Tony, why don't you try sand?
And
I'm dumb.
I would probably say it's sand, rain, sun, and then snow. And that's just because the mons that take advantage of sun, rain, and sand are just better. He could have, yeah, like I said, I want him at full strength. I want you to hit that armor cannon. Honestly, I was, in this scenario, I did not realize that he had a team sheet error for obvious reasons. He did not say anything. But I was like, great, if you're going to wide guard, that's one turn of Armor Rouge not attacking Umbreon. And that gets me the ability to just click Snarl, and Indeedee's doing so little damage, it's like, I can just bring in my Sylveon here, and if you go wide guard, I'm just going to go Terra Blast. I'm just going to go Terra Blast anyway, so it doesn't even really matter. I can also just go Foul Play, because I'm in a position now where both of your mons are so weak. I got that Draco Meteor off into the Armor Rouge, which is exactly what I wanted before Roberta went down. And I think this is when I just go for the KOs.
Alright.
This is when I just decide to end it. Because I'm like, I don't need to stall out anymore. I don't need to go for Snarls.
Alright.
I can just go for...
Focus up. Phone's gone. What else?
Yeah, at this point I was just like, I'm just going to go for the KOs. Because Indeedee's not going to do anything. Armor Rouge shouldn't be able to do anything with the amount of Snarls that it's taken. Even if it has Armor Cannon, it's not going to be able to knock out either of the Evolutions. So, game 1 went to me. He then took some performance-enhancing drugs. I did not realize that until after I watched. I believe that my next lead was... I was expecting an adjustment, so I did not want to bring the same lead that I did last time. I think what I ended up doing here was I led with Salazzle, and actually no, I did lead the exact same way again. I led Salazzle Umbreon because I felt even if you bring Indeedee Armor Rouge, like I said, I can just overheat, eject pack, switch. If you go Torkoal Lilligant again, it plays out the exact same way. You might make some adjustments later on to try to like get things to go a little bit differently, because there's obviously, I'm sure that there's misplays that I didn't even realize in the first game. But it plays out very similarly. I ended up bringing, I think, the exact same for Pokemon, because I was like, I don't really feel like there's a need for an adjustment at this point. Yeah, so I think I went with the exact same lead, exact same Pokemon. I made no adjustments because I felt like the original lead that I went with covered both the Trick Room and the Sun. I believe he actually leads with either one or both of his dragons, which is the one scenario that I probably just could not plan for. The only way that I could have planned for it is with Salamence, but as you will find in either this game or next game, Salamence is entirely useless against Indeedee and Armor Rouge because of its moveset.
Let's try this. Fuck, I can't hear you now.
He ended up bringing the
or
Garch.
Hydreigon for out of Trick Room, and I think it's Hydreigon.
No, he ended up bringing his Hydreigon. So he went with the Indeedee Armor Rouge lead.
Boost.
And he brought the Hydreigon and Torkoal in the back. So
Elements? Okay.
I was entirely wrong. I completely messed up this lead here. I was thinking of game 3, I think, is where I bring Salazzle and Umbreon, because that's the optimal lead. Because if I led with Umbreon in this scenario, this is arguably the worst. This is the worst. I was expecting maybe the dragons coming out, and that's why I brought Roberta and Sylveon, because I have the Habanberry, I threaten with Hyper Voice. You can't knock out both. I don't believe you can knock out both unless you like double up into Sylveon, and even then I have Draco Meteor on my Salamence, so I can choose the dragon that scares me the most, and I calced it out where my Salamence does just barely outspeed Hydreigon. So Hydreigon is just 1 point slower. Even max speed Hydreigon is 1 point slower than my Salamence. So I probably would have been able to take that one out, or I could have taken out the Garchomp, whichever one I feel like is the most deadly, which probably would have been the Garchomp. I was not anticipating him to go full Trick Room, but as you can tell here, I think I go for a.
I think I Terra Fairy and Terra Fairy follow me.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Trick Room. Because now they Terra Blast Water Sylveon, it goes into the Fairy type. If
I think I would draw.
Heat Wave,
I think I
Flash
put
Fire.
the Umbreon in.
If they Draco Meteor, it goes into the fucking thingamajig. Umbreon. This is Umbreon, isn't it? I think I remember that name. Yeah.
Yep, that's just my Japanese Umbreon. So I swap out into yeah.
And I can't hit Flamethrower. Oh, fuck me.
I switched to Umbreon.
Right, my profile, team list. Yeah, I put Flamethrower
I felt like that
over
put me
Armor
in the
Cannon, but I
best
forgot to
scenario
switch
here.
it in game.
Because if he
So I
goes
can't hit
follow
Armor
me,
Cannon.
because if he goes follow me, the Draco Meteor goes into the Indeedee. Basically, Salamence is useless because I can't Heat Wave because of the Flash Fire, and now I can't Draco Meteor because they can always just go for follow me. But by switching out the Sylveon, I basically get myself into a scenario where my win condition is on the board. If I can Snarl, stall out Trick Room, hit the Indeedee in the Armor Rouge, at some point something's going to have to give. And I should be able to carry the game from here. However, the fact that Roberta is absolutely useless just kind of means that I have to hope that he plays with his food. And I either need to make a really good prediction on when I can switch the Ments into something else, because obviously I brought Salamence, Umbreon, Sylveon, and then I think I brought either Salazzle is in the back or Goldengo is in the back.
I can only hit Expanding Force. I effectively have 3 moves this game.
Yeah, see, like I said.
Try to tell him.
What?
You should just let him know.
I will. No, I can't. I don't want to take a team sheet error. I don't want anyone knowing. I'm just going to hide it from everyone. I'm too embarrassed.
That was really unfortunate. But I did think I was just going to stall a turn of Trick Room.
Don't you want to take this?
They protect from the Snarl. Maybe I should have seen that coming, and I should have gone for maybe Foul Play onto the Armor Rouge.
I wish it was single target damage if the Pokemon on the field protected.
It is for Dragon Darts. That's the...
Nice. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that any day that ends in Y.
Especially since Roberta is basically useless. And I can't really confidently... say
I want Expanding Force, but I think Wide Guard's safer.
Yeah, Wide Guard.
You know
is
what?
definitely
I'm
the best
going
play.
for it. I don't think they're going to Snarl again, because I did spam Wide Guard at the end of the game last time. So who's coming in? Don't be Meowscarada. Rock. Oh, it's Goldilocks. And I can't use my fire move.
Honestly, I'm
missed
thinking...
Indeedee?
Yeah, the switch into Golden Go in hindsight, was probably very aggressive. Very aggressive. If they go armor cannon to that slot, predicting the fact that the Salamence isn't doing anything. It literally can't do anything. Except make maybe a prediction, maybe going for Draco Meteor into the Armor Rouge, because at some point they have to not go Indeedee. But Indeedee is their best source of damage onto Umbreon with the Dazzling Gleam. Actually no, Armor Rouge with Armor Cannon would have been. But once again, like he said, he's not telling me this, so I'm still operating under the fact that I'm anticipating an Armor Cannon. And like I said, at some point, the wide guards is going to have to come down, and I made a bit of an aggressive play bringing in the Golden Go, but I did feel like if there was an attacking move going into that Salamence slot, it was going to be Expanding Force, which Rock Resist, and I can stall out Trick Room a little bit longer. It did miss Indeedee. That was very tragic. I was really hoping to hit Indeedee as well, so then I can start not taking so much damage from the Dazzling Gleams. I think in this scenario, I'm pretty sure I just go for Protected Moonlight. I go very passive here. And this might be when he really takes the opportunity to,
I want him to KO Indeedee.
I'm not going to KO Indeedee. Because you showed, expanding. You showed not expanding force. You showed wide guard. I was not scared of the Indeedee just because I was like, okay, if I get a Snarl off onto it, then I'm fine. The Shadow Ball.
Perfect. Now Torkoal comes in and eruptions.
I did the Snarl instead of the Moonlight, which I think is my downfall, actually.
Right.
If I was going to go for the KO onto the...
Yeah, 90-second delay. I just checked the Twitch chat because I'm vain. Even though I told you I wouldn't check you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
I either Moonlight here, or the second misplay that I make here is... I know that the Eruption is coming, so what I should do is switch into Salamence. I should protect, switch into Salamence. Because Salamence is just gonna take this a little bit better than Umbreon is, and I can stall out another turn of Trick Room by protecting Golden Go. Losing Umbreon was honestly the worst thing that could have happened. Here's the Sylveon. I do go for the Terra Water right away. I no longer have to be scared of wide guard, however, so I can start going for like chip damage, and I didn't want a potential follow me to offset my Draco Meteor. There goes the Terra Water, just in case. I honestly, I was not keeping track of my Trick Room turns. I should have probably just waited. No. I think going for the Terra Water is fine, because I'm not going to Terra Fire my Hydreigon. I also like Terra Water Sylveon. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate the... I do. I like being told that some of the decisions are good. Although, I'm pretty sure Terra Water Sylveon has picked up. Maybe Terra Water into the Indeedee would have been the best play, but I get the... I'm pretty confident at this point that the Indeedee doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I do have double resist on the Eruption.
I have -1 special attack. Fuck it though.
Yeah.
Yawn.
I think I follow me for the Terra Blast, and yeah. Yawn the Sylveon, right?
Yeah.
I've run the Calx too, depending on what his Torkoal's built, then going Terra Water into the Torkoal Yeah, see, this is why I don't go for Draco Meteor. I'm
Okay.
just trying to chip away at his HP, so Eruption might not do as much. Oh no, I do go for Terra Blast. I go for the Indeedee. Oh no, that's right. I did go for the Torkoal,
Holy
but
fuck.
follow me.
I fucking love Indeedee.
Yep.
Yo, Yawn is so much better than Earth Power Knight Rider. Because I'm
Yeah.
already convinced, like, bro, when I had, Earth Power, I was always hitting it in a losing situation already. So now if I could gain an extra turn from sleep, it's just like, boom goes a Dynamite.
Go double protect
Yeah,
here.
double
Yeah, that
protect
makes
here.
sense. Wait for the Sylveon to go to sleep. Don't risk having your eruptions get weakened even more to the point where you have to rely on Heat Wave, which is a 90 accuracy move.
I could have Yawn Salamence, actually. I need to hit Yawn more aggressively. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go check on the dog.
Yawn onto Salamence, if you protect Hydreigon, isn't the worst thing in the world for me because I'm still going to go for the Draco Meteor because I'm at full health. So honestly, this was kind of like an ideal scenario for me, aside from the fact that I don't get any more damage off with the Sylveon. Just go for Hyper Voice.
Alright.
Because I do have the one-hit KO onto the Hydreigon. Yeah, there's the Draco. So, unfortunately, I go to sleep. I think I go for the exact same play, but I'm not going to get it off. So there's the Eruption. As you can tell after the...
One turn of sleep.
Yep.
Come on, be in range, be in range,
The
be in
Bomb Berry
range.
activates, but it's
Let's
not
go!
enough. I'm pretty sure it's only meant to... I think with my build, the Hydreigon or the Salamence only lives this. It's no longer Safety Goggles, it is Habanberry. It is Habanberry.
Do we get a second turn of sleep?
And then we have Hydreigon. I'll just go with Life Orb, even though I know that this is... So if it's Life Orb, it's an 87.5% chance. Since this is probably... I know what it is. It was the Scope Lens set. So this is the Scope Lens set. So... yeah, at 50% it always
Yawn
KOs.
or Draco Meteor Yawn? I think it's actually Draco Meteor and Yawn.
Honestly, I was
That
very
covers both
surprised
they
at
sleep
what
and if they
happens
wake
here. I thought it was a 100% chance for a
That
crit
fucking
in this
sucks.
scenario, and
never
as a
mind.
result, I didn't think it was supposed to miss, but I'll take the 90% accurate. I thought crits were always supposed to hit, but I guess maybe there was like room for error here.
Let's do this.
Yeah. He takes game 2. See, I told you he's a good team builder. He's a good player. He probably saw a lot of opportunities that I didn't, or he just put me in a position where.
Let's do this.
He just put me in a position where I was rough. The worst thing that could have, the thing that might have been able to help me is, pulling out the Sylveon and just taking the full power Heat Wave or Eruption with the Salamence instead, and then just try to chip down the HP even more, so then I can get the Sylveon onto the field again. Not Sylveon, Umbreon, heal up, get the Snarls off. Okay. Now, what I said in the last round, or the last game, now comes into play here. I lead with Salazzle Umbreon because it covers all of my bases. And then I bring Meowscarada and... Oh, no, I bring Salazzle, Umbreon as my leads with Meowscarada and Sylveon in the back, because I believe it covers all of my bases.
What do you think of a double dragon lead?
Good work. I feel like Salamence is
Right, Salamence has to come. They brought it first game. They didn't bring it second game when they lost. So now they have to bring it third game. So maybe it's actually Indeedee Garchomp.
They brought it the second game too.
Oh, did they?
Both games. They let it, yeah.
Oh, I'm.
KO'd it with the Draco Meteor.
The Salamence?
Yeah.
No, I mean the Salazzle.
Sorry. Oh, I don't know about Salazzle.
Yeah, Salazzle, I mean. With Fake Out. Oof. I think I'm going Double Dragon. Meowscarada and Salazzle could stop me. Ooga. And DD Torkoal in the back.
DD Torkoal in the back. See, I just didn't know if they were going to lead in DD Armor Rouge again. So that's why I ended up going with the lead that I went with.
It's weird. I got you coming through my monitor. I want to yell like I'm in the car talking on the phone. Because like your voice is quieter. So I feel like if I yell, it'll make you louder, which is so dumb of me.
Okay. So he leads Double Dragon. I lead with my Salazzle and my Umbreon. What's going through my head right now is that the Hydreigon can't really do a whole lot to... it can maybe bring me down to Sash. It can maybe bring me down to Sash on Meowscarada, but what I end up going for here is just a simple Fake Out into the Garchomp, switch out into Meowscarada. Reason being, I can potentially set up my own Trick Room if I absolutely need to, but it also gives me an opportunity to get a knockoff onto his Hydreigon or his Garchomp, because I know that he's the critical hit set. So I can, at the very least, if he goes Focus Energy, I can either Encore that, or I can knock off the Scope Lens Life Orb that was on his Garchomp. So I can go for a knockoff play and get at least one of the items off and go from there.
They can only Fake Out one of me. They Fake Out Hydreigon, I don't get the crit setup, but then they get Earthquaked. If they Fake Out Garchomp, I get the crit setup. So then Snarl doesn't matter, Foul Play doesn't matter, Helping Hand doesn't matter.
The only thing that he didn't consider was me switching. Coming out of the Fake Out.
Into what?
It doesn't matter. Something's coming in for Salamence.
No, that's a mouse. I mean, that's a cat. That's a cat.
Yep, Cthulhu gets the Fake Out into the Garchomp because the Garchomp was the biggest threat in that scenario. As soon as I saw that Focus Energy, I was super hyped because I knew that I could go for... I needed to debate between, do I Terra my Salazzle? Is it worth tearing the Salazzle? Because the Torkoal could be in the back. However, what I end up deciding on doing is, yes, keep the... Because what he could have done is maybe he could have... Well, see, here's the thing, is that he should know that once he clicked the Focus Energy, he knew that I was going to go for Encore. And I've had this happen to me a couple times in the games. He probably should have just... One of the things he could have read into was switch out Hydreigon, because I'm very tempted to go Encore there, because it takes out a huge piece of your offense if I get the Encore off. And then you can either go Earthquake or you can go Dragon Claw into the Salazzle. You know that my Meowscarada is Focus Sash, so you know that you can't... You either have to accept that you're getting Encored, or you can switch into something that can potentially do follow-up damage onto the Meowscarada. You still have an Indeedee fairy in the back. What I end up doing is I Terra my Salazzle to account for any kind of like Earthquake. Because if he goes single target into the Salazzle, so be it. I Encore the Hydreigon because I'm like, that's way too tempting. And then I just go for a knockoff onto the Garchomp because I'm like, if they go for Earthquake, they're not going to do a whole lot if they lose their Life Orb onto Meowscarada. So I can minimize the damage Meowscarada takes while still maintaining like a decent amount of HP. So that way I can get like maybe another knockoff or a Flower Trick onto whatever switches in for a Hydreigon. So if Hydreigon switches, that's fine. I can have decent chunks of damage next turn. Um, and if Hydreigon doesn't, then I get the Encore off, and I get to keep both of my very fast Pokemon on the field.
No. It has... Oh, why am I looking up my moveset? Oh, because I'm an asshole, and I don't... Yeah.
I love that line. I love that line. Why am I looking at my moveset? Because I'm an asshole and I don't care.
Well, I got hair in my mouth.
That's the kind of New Yorker language that I love to hear. Yeah, go for the Draco
I have
Meteor.
so many team sheet errors. I have another team sheet error.
The Earth... See, I just needed to know if I needed to...
I have Snarl Dragon.
Yep, there's the Terra-Flying Salazzle.
I should have told you they were that.
Knockoff? Because I'm like, okay, I neuter the Garchomp's damage a little bit. I get the Encore off onto the Hydreigon.
Oh, fuck me. They got me. They got me.
Now, here's the thing that I didn't account for. This is what I didn't account for. So basically, in this scenario here, I'm like, okay, now's the time for me to pivot my Salazzle. Salazzle has done her job. She has encored the Hydreigon, locked it into a move. It is now time to get her out of there. I have the opportunity to switch into something. The Garchomp's damage is a little bit neutered, and I'm pretty confident with the Pokemon that I have, I can get stuff done. So basically, if the Garchomp went for Rock Slide, that's not a very effective move into a lot of my Pokemon, and it doesn't matter on the Pokemon that switches in if it takes a Rock Slide or not, or at least it doesn't matter as much if it's an Earthquake, but I doubt that you go Earthquake here, because if I stay in with Salazzle, then Earthquake is pretty pointless because of the Meowscarada and the Terra-Flying Salazzle. So you're probably not going to go Earthquake. If you go Dragon Claw, that could knock out my Salazzle. And I feel like I kind of want to have the Fake Out pressure or the Overheat pressure for later on in the game. And then there's obviously Rock Slide, which can hit both Pokemon, but it's not going to knock out the Meowscarada, and I can just go for a knockoff onto the Hydreigon slot. That's pretty safe. I feel like Meowscarada, I feel like is pretty safe. The only thing that could have screwed me here is if they Dragon Clawed Meowscarada, but even then I was kind of okay with it because I was just going to knock off into the Hydreigon slot anyway, and I was kind of like, Meowscarada's kind of served his purpose. So, we'll see what he ends up going with.
No, I can't protect.
I do think this is the correct play. Switch into the Indeedee. The only thing that maybe would have helped is, I don't know, switching into the don't switch into the Torkoal, I guess. But I knew someone was gonna switch. I thought it was the Hydreigon, to be honest. I thought the Hydreigon was switching, which is why you see me go for knockoff. And I pivot with the Overheat here. So I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can, as well as just pivoting with the Jetpack.
Huh.
Because now's the time for me to bring in my Sylveon, because nothing wants to switch into this Sylveon, except for maybe Indeedee.
How many turns does Encore last?
And this is the last turn of Encore.
Check.
One more.
but it's the one turn that I need it for. So you can either switch into whatever's in the back, and I am like, if it's Torkoal, I get good damage off onto that,
Terra
reduce the
Indeedee, you mean?
power.
No.
I think if I Terra Dragon, it's useless, right?
Why? You survived the hyper voice.
You think I do?
I think so.
Indeedee's dead now, though.
Yeah. I was gonna go for knockoff and hyper voice anyway. I was just gonna go knockoff onto the Indeedee because if you don't Terra,
This guy got me good. I'm just dumb and didn't pay attention and respect Encore enough. Jerry should have taught me to respect Encore more.
I'm trying to think. We can go back maybe and see what would have happened if he did respect Encore.
Probably how I think.
But then yeah, not
Yeah, I
having
didn't
it
think I
beat Trick Room.
survived.
So I think the person that he's on the
It
phone
was
with
worth it, though.
does.
It was worth it, 'cause I think I
we'll
was already in a
we'll,
losing
we'll see if
position
we
anyway.
agree with.
There's not much I could have done there.
I think you would have survived.
Double target.
The Indeedee might have lived. I would have to run the calc if it survives a double target.
I hope this person ends up like winning the whole thing.
I hope I do too.
So my resistance is good at least.
I did make top cut, so we can take solace in that at least. Top 64, baby. Let's go.
They could KO Garchomp with Flower Trick here too.
The person he's on the phone with ends up talking about how I should have doubled up the Torkoal slot instead of the Garchomp. The reason why I didn't was because one, I know that I can't Terra Sylveon, but I do know that that I wall out this Torkoal, barring a crit. I wall this Torkoal. So I go for a really aggressive play. I go Flower Trick into the Garchomp because I'm like, if I can just KO this thing, I'm in a much better position because then it's a 1v4. You take down the Meowscarada, I don't care. But I can freely without having to worry about the extra damage. So I guess maybe I could have detected, but I wanted to get the damage off onto the Torkoal. So I get really greedy here. I'm fairly certain that if I missed, or if I got hit by both, if I flinched, basically. If I flinch, I'm in a much worse spot. So basically this turn is very crucial.
Unless they like Sucker Punch and it fails.
No, they can't sucker punch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like unless they like throw.
They're gonna double target.
Garchomp.
No. Well, they shouldn't. They are.
I actually need to run that calc real fast. I do want to run that calc very quickly. I'm assuming this is the generic Life Orb set. It could be a little bit bulkier, who knows? I don't have access to his EV training, but my Meowscarada, it's pretty basic. Yeah, Jolly. Yep. Sucker Punch knockoff. I don't run Protect, I run Trick Room. But that does not matter in the grand scheme of things. So basically, Flower Trick, if he's at 94, he's at a 51% chance. There is a 37.5% chance that Flower Trick from that range KOs. I got one of the lower rolls. Because I got a 92. I got a 92. I'm fairly certain. So yeah, I had like a 30-some% chance of OKOing in that situation, and if I got that, I was in a much better position, which is why I went for it. Obviously, his coach disagrees. Um, I just kind of went for it. I didn't know if I was going to get it or not. Clearly, I didn't. But I don't have to. I went for the. I'm going to try to remove Rock Slide from the equation. That's what I was thinking. I'm going to try to remove Rock Slide.
No, who'd it miss? I needed it to hit the fucking Sylveon more than anything.
Yeah. I was trying to remove the variance. There was a 30% chance that I just don't have to deal with Rock Slide flinches. Yeah, because I take that so easily. And then I can just bring in Salazzle, Acid Spray. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Trick Room's not
I
a...
hope I don't see more teams like this in San Diego.
You're
Let's
not.
hope for that.
You're not going to see more teams like this in San Diego. You're not going to see it. I guarantee you. I'd be very surprised if anyone's bringing Umbreon, Salazzle, and Salamence all on the same roster.
I should have told you.
Yep. And there's the KO.
Then I noticed that heat wave.
But I can Heat Wave because I have Snarl on the team sheet. Because that's my team sheet. I need now in between the games. What I need to do right now is go switch to Snarl Hydreigon and Flamethrower on Armor Cannon.
Okay, so GG's to Tom Hayden. I really think that these were some really good matches. It was a good set, and that's what I like about. This is what I feel about like good VGC is when it felt like okay, if he had made a couple of different reads, he would have won, or if he got a little bit luckier, he would have won. Same thing for me is like if I made a couple reads better, I probably could have won. But it wasn't like it wasn't so one-sided that it was just boring to play against and play with. There was back and forth. There was room for variance. For like I said, for example, I wanted to take out the Rock Slide. He went for the right move, which was Rock Slide. Rock Slide, get the flinch onto the Sylveon, get a full power. Um, get a full power. Um, frick. Get a full power eruption out. I still think I'm in a very good spot, even if you do pick up the double KO, because then I fake out Torkoal. Foul play. If you don't, if you, yeah. So basically, good game for him. We can do some more analysis later, but I think if if you pick up the double KO, I go fake out into the Torkoal. The Garchomp's at 2 HP. Fake out into the Torkoal because that makes sure that there's no eruption. Plus, it does a little bit less damage. It does a little bit less damage the following turn. And then I Snarl because if you don't protect, then I get a -1 onto your Torkoal as well as even more chip, and I knock out your Garchomp, assuming that it hits. I probably would just foul play in that scenario because I theoretically got the fake out. If you double protect, which I'm assuming would happen, what I then do is if you double protect, I just encore one of your Pokemon. So whichever one I feel like is the most dangerous, which would probably be the Torkoal. So you can't protect. If you do protect, you're gonna get encored with either Pokemon. Go foul play into Garchomp, and I win from there. So really good games, seriously. Like I said, I thought it was a good set. There was a couple of sets that I actually dropped that I probably maybe had a fighting chance for. I actually just quit two games in a row because it was the Tyranitar Lycanroc duo. But check out Tom Hayden. Best of luck in San Diego. I hope your team does very well. I really, really like the terrain extender and the um, room service. I thought it was a very unique combination of tools, And I think if you were playing at 100%, there was a few times where these games could have gone differently. But that's all for this video, and I hope to see y'all next time.